today's show. I'm your host, Christopher Power. Our guest today, I'm going to go out on a limb and say was a comedy acting coach for Don Knotts back in the day.
Oh, please don't say that. Now I'm going to have his agent calling me.
We're joined in Working Real Productions for not just CEOs and management and big corporations, but we were touching on actors as well in his own career. So, buddy, when we talk about coaching an actor, a lot of it is, think one thing, do another, and say something completely different. There's three thoughts running through an actor's mind. Why is that?
Well, okay, so we work on all the different types of acting approaches, right? Method, motivation, classic technique, all of them. Yeah, improv, everything. So all of them really boil down to making the moment as truthful as possible. Making the moment as truthful as possible. So you have to find the truth. Well, in truth, we all live like that, right? If you're driving your car, you're not talking and thinking about, I'm putting my hand over my hand and I'm going to do this and I'm shifting. You're not doing that. You're driving the car, but you're talking to, or you're singing with Elton John on the radio, right? But you're thinking about, when you get to work, you got to do this, you got to do that, Now, of course, we should all think about our driving. I'm not promoting that. But in reality, we do multiple things all at the same time. If you're pouring yourself a cup of coffee, you're probably thinking about what you got to do when you get back to your desk. That's kind of the thing. So we have to tell actors to have an inner monologue all the time. So that inner monologue is what they're thinking, their character is thinking. And then they will do what the director wants them to do, the business of the moment, but they'll say what the writer gave them to say.
Now, when we look at those internal monologues, and it's neat that you break it down, a lot of the times people will hear, you're enough, not necessarily your character, but you're enough to play this character. Is that kind of what you mean when you have these, you're driving a car, but you're thinking about where you're going to park, or you're pouring your coffee and you're waiting for what's going to happen at the desk, and all these emotions going through? When we're playing a part as actors, we're the actor, we're that character. But a lot of time we hear that, you're enough. So is it that we're being too big with our performances when we hear those comments? Is it that we're not being big enough? Or can you comment on that?
Well, between me and you, and please don't tell anybody I said this, that's not really a good direction from a director. But probably what they're trying to say is that if you make it as conversational as possible, we cast you in this role because of what we saw in you as well. So every character has an element of the actor who plays the role. So we don't want actors to start to pretend to be something outside of their comfort zone, because it's no longer real, it's no longer truthful. So when I was a very young man, I was doing a stage play and it wasn't going well for me. And the director one day stopped giving me notes. And I said, Harry, why don't you have any notes for me? And he said, no, buddy. He goes, when you show up to work, you'll get it. But I don't know what I have to do to get you there anymore. And I was so angry, and I complained to the other cast. And I said, I'm the first guy to work. I was the first guy off book. I'm the last guy to leave rehearsals every day. Why is he, how can he say that to me? And he said, the cast all agreed with him, said, yeah, buddy, he's right. You haven't shown up yet. And so the next day during rehearsal, instead of doing what I thought I was supposed to do, and then, I'm just going to goof off. And, I winked at all the girls in the cast and nudged anybody I could try to make laugh without getting caught. I tried it. And when I was finished that rehearsal, the entire cast and crew gave me a private standing ovation. And Harry came down and said, finally, Buddy Brennan showed up. He goes, we didn't want you to be some caricature of a Baptist preacher. We wanted Buddy Brennan, who happens to be a Baptist preacher, in this play. And that's, was a learning exercise. And I think that's what your directors are telling you. Just bring you to the role.
It's a really neat comment that you made. Although you're doing the audition and you're reading the script and the information they gave you, but they're not just looking at your character performance, they're looking at you as a person as well. Did I understand that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Let's say you audition for something and it comes down to you and another actor, and you're both really good actors. Well, at the end of the day, casting directors will deny this, but there is human nature that says that they are going to decide how they feel about you regardless. The 15 seconds of a first impression. When you walk in the room, are you the person they want to spend their day with? Are you a nice person? Are you behaving like they expected that character to behave? And that's, has to influence their decisions. So the one that's more likable is going to get the part that day. Yeah. So I think that's what you're asking. I hope I'm answering the question.
No, of course, yeah. So where can people learn more about Working Reel Productions?
Well, they can always send an email to crew, CREW, at workingreel, REEL.com, crew@workingreel.com, and we'll get back to them and phone them, or they can phone our office at 519-342-FILM, FILM, 342-3456.
Now, is there anything that Working Reel Production is working on in the background that you can kind of give us a glimpse in? Are you taking on more actors for opportunities? Are you taking on more corporate guys? Are you making your own movies? What is Working Reel Productions up to today?
So we're very lucky that we get to pick and choose who we want to work with. And I have a couple of corporations that have asked us to come and assess whether or not we want to work with them. We do turn down probably more actors now than we take on, but we've expanded and we've taken on another coach quite recently who's just going to focus on actors. And we have another one that only focuses on children actors. So we are growing as we go, but our focus is always going to be the same. Our job is to make the actor better, to make the performer better. And so we really try to support that. And we take them on an annual basis, and then we don't limit how many times we see them. So if somebody has an audition 3 times that week, we're going to see them 3 times that week. We're going to do everything we possibly can to make them feel supported. But we're also, I have a book that I have a literary agent in Los Angeles looking at that is aimed at actors, and it's going to talk quite a bit about the things we just talked about today. And it looks like that's probably going to be published soon. And we also have a film script that we've submitted that has the possibility of being accepted or at least developed.
That's awesome. So you got a book that's coming out, hopefully, knock on wood, a movie that you're working on as well. And of course, give them a call and Google Working Reel Productions to see if you can get a spot. That's awesome. I have time for one last question for you, buddy. What makes Buddy Brennan smile?
Yeah, that's a good question. I spent my life as an actor. I'm an emotional guy, right? I cry when they squeeze the Charmin too tight on TV. It's kind of who I am. But my default emotion is I'm a pretty happy guy. So, if you want to know what makes me feel great, it's when that actor calls and said, "Buddy, I booked this gig." And they've been struggling with it for so long, and all of a sudden their careers are about to take off. That makes me really happy. I had a business person called me and was in tears, saying that it was the first time that she had given a presentation where the audience cried while she was talking. That's I know now that what we did mattered, and that makes me happy.
Well, that's beautiful. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. I'm Christopher Power, your host on the Disability Channel with the Today Show with Kojiko, your TV. Remember to smile, to inspire, and have a fantastic day, and check out Working Reel Productions, Buddy Brennan on Google when you get the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.